Welcome back, guys. Today we'll be learning how to use Git and GitHub. So I will be assuming that you already have a GitHub account and are logged into it. So let's get into it. So when you first open GitHub, you'll be greeted with this screen, and it will obviously vary per user. It might be mostly blank for you, especially if you're a new user. So on the left tab here, we'll have your teams, which is like the teams you're part of. That's for if you're like collaborating in an organization or something, and then you'll have your repositories. So this list is probably going to be blank because you're probably going to be a new user. The little lock symbol near there means that it's a private repository, which means only people you've invited or that you've been invited to can see it. Or basically it's not public to everyone, only a certain number of people can view it who you invite, or someone has either invited you to view that repository and possibly collaborate on it. All these other repositories are public. They don't have the little lock icon. They have something different, which means anyone can see them and do stuff like make a pull request or star it, etc. In the middle, you'll have your activity. You'll have like your pull requests on the top, and like what other people have been doing if you're following them. And on the right, you'll have like the little explore option. It'll like show you stuff that GitHub thinks you might like or something. So why would one want to use GitHub? Well, it keeps your projects organized. It allows other people to contribute or critique your code, and it's like an extra backup for your code. It keeps it safe online just in case it gets deleted off your computer or something. It's also like a digital portfolio. So like if you go to my profile, you can see like it shows my accomplishments and stuff on it, and I have like all my good repositories up here. So if someone's like looking to hire me or something, they'll see all this and be impressed, hopefully. That's the idea. The final reason is, well, the most important reason, allows you to flex on your friends. You can show them all your awesome code and stuff. So about GitHub, well, a repository is like a project or space for all your code for that project. It's like a big box with a bunch of stuff in it. So like if I were to create a new repository, so click on the plus little button here, new repository, and then I have a name for it. So let's just do test repository. I'm going to make it public, add a description, my test repository. You can add a README. All good GitHub repositories have a README file. It's displayed when you first open the repository in GitHub, and it usually contains a bunch of useful information, possibly documentation, credits to other people, etc. And a git ignore is a file which tells GitHub, well, what files to ignore. So you can add that. And then license. So license tells others what they can and can't do with your code. So they might not be able to monetize it or use it without giving you credit. So we're going to click create repository, and it'll bring us to our new repository. So you can see that it says commits up here and initial commit. Well, what is a commit? Well, a commit is a change to the repository. So it could be deleting a file, changing a couple lines in a file, changing a bunch of files. Could be adding a completely new file. It's just a change to that repository. Alright. A pull request. So a pull request is if someone has forked your repository. So a fork is if they make a copy of your code under their username or something, or username or organization, and they make changes and they submit what's called a pull request. So they're asking you to review their code, and if you like it, then you should add it to your repository, and then GitHub will merge the two repositories. Alright, so now that we know about GitHub, let's learn about Git. So this part is going to be mostly for Windows, although it should apply to Linux and Mac. So we're going to go to git-scm.com, and we're going to download the installer. Alright, so what Git is it's like a code managing system. So GitHub has a lot of the functions of Git built in and some other cool stuff, but this is how you would upload and update your code or clone a repository, etc. from the command line. There's also a GUI built into this, so we're just going to install it. That seems fine. That seems fine. I'm going to use Atom because I have that installed. And then I'm going to do that. And then we can use OpenSSH. Then that. Let's see. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Yep. Alright, and that's going to take a little bit to install. So now that we've installed Git, it is accessible via the command line. So let's say that we want to clone a repository and make changes. So I have here a folder, and I'm going to open up command prompt. So I'm going to do Windows key plus R to open up the run program. Then I am going to type in cmd and then enter, and then I'm just going to cd over to this folder. So now what I can do is git clone my repository. So let's see. Let's clone our test repository. So we're going to click this button here, and then we're going to copy this URL right here, and we can just click the copy button right there. So now we have it in our clipboard. I'm going to do git clone and then paste it in, and then it will clone all the files and stuff from the repository into our local copy right here. So now we can make changes, like let's do hi there.txt. It doesn't really matter what you add. It could be code, it could be like an assets file, or just something silly like this. And then let's say we want to upload those changes to this repository on GitHub. So what we're going to do is we're going to do git commit, or actually first we need to track this file. So if a file hasn't been tracked before, then you need to do this. So we're going to do git add, and then we're going to add the file. You can also use a star for all the files, but I'm just going to type hi there.txt. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't cd into our repository. So we need to do cd test-repository. And now we're in that repository, and now we can add it. So no errors that time, it worked well. And now we can do a commit. So we're going to do git commit, and then I'm just going to do a star for all the files, or all the changes rather, and then -m for message, and then I'm going to type in my message, hi there. So the commit name is, well actually let's make it add hi there.txt. And now we've created our commit, and now we need to push all the changes to the online version. So we're going to do git push, and then enter, and then it is going to update the files over here. Now we can refresh this repository. We can see that we now have hi there.txt. And that's the basics of Git. So the advantages of using Git is basically the same thing as, or almost the same thing as GitHub. It keeps your code organized, and it's an easy way to, well, use GitHub, so you don't have to program using the GitHub editor. The GitHub editor looks like this. It's pretty good, especially for an online editor, but it's not the best. So what you can do now that you have a local copy, is you can open it up in your favorite editor. Like let's say I want to open it with Atom, I guess. You can open it with Atom. When it loads, and there we have it in Atom, hi there.txt, you can see, and we can make our changes, and then save it, and then make a new commit. So let's do git commit, make some cool changes, and then we're going to git push, wait for it to finish, and now we can see that our changes are there. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, remember to leave a like and maybe subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye, y'all.